You have no rights to film me.
Shut the fuck up. How's everybody doing today? Today I will be informing you on some history of Nebraska football. Some relevance that I have is I'm from Nebraska. I grew up being a Nebraska fan. I went to all the football games, met some of the players. The relevance in today's society is college football. We're in college. A lot of people like football. It's an easy thing to talk about. Some of the first things I want to talk about in Nebraska, they've won five national championships in their history. These coming in 1970, 71, then 94, 95, and 97. In the 1990s, Nebraska had arguably one of the best teams of all time. I'll talk about that a little bit later in my speech. They have the longest sellout streak in history right now at 354 games. The stadium holds 90,000, so it's pretty impressive. It's also the third largest city on game days in Nebraska. And they're considered some of the best fans on earth. They're kind, genuine, and win or lose. And the Sea of Red is something that they talk about all the time. Players, opponents always talk about how tough it is to play there. First off, I'll talk about the tradition of Nebraska. The sellout streak started in 1962. People from all around the United States come to Nebraska games. Like I said, players on the opposing teams always say it's one of the toughest places to play. Now that I've told you a little bit about tradition, I'll talk about some of the coaches in Nebraska history. The first coach I'll talk about is Bob Devaney. He won 2 national championships for Nebraska. First one in 1970 and the second one in 1971. He coached one of the best players of all time in college football. His name was Johnny Rodgers. His overall record in Nebraska was 102, 20-2. The next coach I'll talk about is Tom Osborne. He won national championships in 1994, 1995, and 1997. His overall record was 255, 49-3. It's pretty impressive. His 97 team was considered one of the best teams of all time. They went 13-0 and 8-0 in conference. They won the Big 12 championship against Texas A&M 54-15, and they beat Tennessee 42-17 in the national championship. Tennessee had Peyton Manning on their team. Their average margin of victory that season was over 30 points. Now that I've talked to you about some of the coaches, I'll talk to you about some of the players that have come to Nebraska, some of the bigger names. The first one I'll talk about is Tommy Frazier. He was a quarterback for Nebraska and played from 1992 to 1995. He won national championships in 1994 and 1995. He went 45-4 with 5,476 yards of total offense and 79 touchdowns. He won the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, Quarterback of the Year, as well as All-American honors. The next player I'll talk about is Johnny Rodgers. He was a running back for Nebraska. He played in the 70s. He won championships with them in 70 and 71. He holds the record for all-purpose yards with 5,586. Some of the awards he won was the Heisman Trophy, the Walter Camp Award, which is awarded the best college football player. Sports analysts always talk about how electric and how good of a player he was, and he had how big of an impact he always had on each game he played in. The last player I'll talk about is Dave Remington. He played at Nebraska from 81 to 83. He won the Lombardi Award, the UPI Lineman of the Year Award, as well as the NCAA Top 5 Award and the Outland Trophy twice. He now has a trophy named after him. It's called the Remington Award. It's given to the best college lineman every year. Now that I've talked to you about some of the history, coaches, and players in Nebraska, I hope that I've informed you a little bit more than you've already known. Thank you for listening in on this.